All right, we're solving two-step equations now. This is Chapter 6, Lesson 4, where we take a look at two-step equations. We've been solving one-step equations where we just had to add to both sides, or subtract to both sides, or multiply or divide to both sides. But now we're going to combine those a little bit and learn how to solve two-step equations. So that is your learning target, is I know how to solve two-step equations. So here's the key concept. Essentially, what two-step equations are is it has two different operations that need to be undone, is what I put here, in order to solve. So what that is pretty much here is we have like 3x plus 4 equals 12. Okay, so there's two different things that need to be done here. First, we need to get rid of the 4, and we need to get rid of the 3 to get x by itself. There's two different operations. It's going to take two different steps to solve these problems. Okay, so in order to solve two-step equations, you have to undo the addition or subtraction part of the problem first. If you don't, you'd actually have to, it'll just take a few more steps. So we want to, it's a lot easier. We want to undo the addition or subtraction part of the problem first. So up here, we would subtract 4 from both sides. And then the second part of that is we need to undo the multiplication or division part of the problem. So then 3 times x, we need to divide by 3 on both sides. That is the steps that we need to take to solve two-step equations. So let's do a couple examples. Example 1 says to solve 4x plus 3 equals 19, and then we have to check our solution. So the first thing we want to do, remember, I'm going to rewrite the problem here. The first thing we want to do is we want to undo the addition or subtraction part of the problem. And right here we see that there's a 4x plus 3. So we want to get rid of that positive 3 by subtracting 3 on both sides. I'm going to subtract 3 on both sides, and we're going to end up with 4x on this side and 16 over here on the right side. Okay, so now I have something that's equal. 4x plus 3 equals 19 is the same thing as 4x equals 16. We're getting the variable x by itself, slowly but surely getting it by itself. Okay, so now we have 4 times x equals 16, and this is where the second step comes in, is we have to undo the multiplication or division part of the problem. These two are being multiplied, so we have to divide by 4 on both sides. When we do that, 4 and the 4, that 4 divided by 4 is just 1, so we're left with just x equals, and 16 divided by 4, well, that is just 4. So therefore, x equals 4. X equals 4. So now we've solved for this problem here. We've solved what for the variable of x. Now what we have to do is we have to check our solution. We use what we know about x being 4, and we plug that back into our original equation up here. So let's just check it over here. If we do 4 times 4 plus 3 equals 19, we see that 4 times 4 is 16 plus 3 equals 19, and 16 plus 3 is 19, so 19 equals 19. That checks out. We are happy. We're happy because of that. It's kind of like a little weird smiley face because the 19s are the eyes and maybe the equal sign is the nose. That's fun. Alright, cool. Maybe we should do a backwards check mark for ears too. Maybe those are ears right there. No, I don't know. That's pretty pathetic. Alright, example 2. Example 2 says to solve 0 equals 6 plus 1/3 t, then check your solution. So first steps first. We've got to get rid of we have to undo the addition or subtraction part. So we're going to subtract 6 from both sides because we have a positive 6 being added to the 1/3 t. And if we do that, we see that we get a negative 6 is equal to 1/3 t. These two equations here are the same exact thing. We haven't changed anything, well, we've just changed the format of the equation here. Now we need to get rid of this 1/3, this fraction of 1/3, and I know that if we multiply by 3 on both sides of the equal sign, we will end up getting 3 times negative 6 is a negative 18, and 1/3 times 3 is just 1, so we're just left with t. saying that t is then negative 18. Negative 18. So that's what we feel like is the answer. Let's go back through and check our work, make sure that we did it right. And we have 0 equals 6 plus 1/3 times negative 18. Negative 18. So first things first, we have to use PEMDAS, right? We have to multiply first. So 1/3 times negative 18. Remember, this is just the fraction negative 18 over 1. And that's going to be negative 18 over 3, or that can reduce down to negative 6, right? Right? Negative 18 divided by 3 is negative 6. And then 6 plus a negative 6, well, that just equals 0, right? Those are the additive inverse of each other. And we get 0 equals 0. That is a true statement. Therefore, we've checked our work. Things checked out. We're happy. We're happy. Alrighty, last example here. Example 3, it says, Tanya had her birthday party at the movies. Fortunately, though, Tanya gets to enjoy the movie for free because it is her birthday, so she doesn't have to pay anything. However, it still costs her $27 for the pizza and $8.50 per friend for the movie tickets. We need to write and solve an equation to determine how many friends Tanya had at her party if she spent $78. Okay, and so we first need to kind of highlight the key important parts here. We know that it was $27 for the pizza, and we know that it costs $8.50 per friend for the movie tickets. Make sure that we know that's the movie tickets. And we also know that she spent $78. Those are our three pieces of key data that we really need to understand and use when we solve this problem here. Okay, so let's go back here, and now we need to write an equation, and that's what the question tells us to do. It says write and solve an equation, and it shouldn't be an equation, an equation. Okay, so we know that it was $27 for the pizza, and it costs also $8.50 per friend. Okay, I'm going to use F as friend, so I'll go over here and I'll say F is equal to friend, just so everybody knows that's what we're talking about. F is friend, okay? And then we know that at the very end of that, it cost her a total of 78 smackaroos. Okay, so now we need to solve this problem to figure out how many friends she had at her party. If that's really how much she spent, and that's how much she spent on everything, how many friends were there? So the first thing we need to do is undo the addition part of the problem. That means we have to subtract 27 from both sides of the problem. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and pause this and zoom up real quick. Alright, so 27 we have to subtract from both sides. That's just going to be 0, and we'll just be left with 850F is equal to 8 minus 7 is 1, 7 minus 2 is 5. So 850 times F is equal to 51. Right? Now we have to undo the 850 part. We have to divide, because they're being multiplied, by 850 from both sides. Divide by 850 on both sides. And we end up seeing that F is equal to, this is the amount of friends she has, F is equal to, get our friend, low batteries, what? Alright, 51 divided by 8.5. We don't need the 0 because that's just repeating. And we get 6. There it is, 6. Therefore, what we have here, let me shift this over here. Therefore, Tanya had 6 of her besties. I don't even know how I'd spell that.